Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So unfortunately today I've got some bad news once again out of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in regards to Miller v. Bonta, which is the challenge to California's ban on so-called assault weapons. So let's talk about what just happened. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here. So I have been watching this case, Miller v. Bonta, very closely and been making videos about it ever since the day it was filed. And there's one thing that I can tell you for certain is that the only person that has taken this case seriously has been Judge Roger Benitez. Everybody else has played games with it at every moment possible. And that's kind of what we have here again. I have been waiting for the Ninth Circuit to come up with a new idea to play games with Miller, just like they've been doing in Duncan. Now, you might remember I made a video literally a couple days ago talking about oral arguments in Miller v. Bonta, which were held in front of a 3-judge panel of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. And in that video, I was talking about an exchange between one of the judges, Judge Miller, and the attorney for the state of California. Now, in that exchange, they were talking about the correlation between Duncan and Miller, whether or not these cases are closely related or not. And the judge actually asked California how they would feel if they waited for the outcome of one before they even touched the other. And that kind of set off a light in my head. It felt like they were going to use Duncan now to try and delay Miller. So unfortunately, we know now that that's exactly what happened. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has found their way to play games with Miller by saying that they're not even going to touch it until we have an outcome in Duncan. And for those of you who are wondering, well, what happened to the injunction that was provided by Judge Benitez and, the stay that was granted by the Ninth Circuit, what's going on with that? We'll explain that in just a second when I read you guys the order. But they have now found a way to play games with Miller. Again, what I think they are going to do here, and we know that they're not very favorable to either of these, lawsuits, but what I feel that they're going to do here is that they're going to come up with a favorable outcome for the state of California in Duncan. And since these cases are so closely related, they are also going to say, since that one was in favor of California, Miller, we're also going to vote in favor of the state of California and say that it's perfectly constitutional. So let me go ahead and read you guys the order that was filed by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Now, try and keep in mind that this is after the plaintiffs have gone through years and roundabouts in this case and spent untold sums of money to get to this point. They read this after spending the entire day in front of the Ninth Circuit giving oral arguments. So it says here again, before Berzon, Nguyen, and Miller, which are the circuit judges for the Ninth Circuit, this case shall be held in abeyance and admission is withdrawn pending resolution of Duncan v. Bonta. The stay entered on October 28th, 2023 shall remain in effect pending further order of the court. And then it says, see Duncan v. Bonta. So that should answer your question right there if you were one of those people wondering what happened to the injunction that was provided by Judge Benitez. Well, we know that it was stayed by the Ninth Circuit. We know that these oral arguments were addressing whether or not the stay should continue or the injunction should be allowed to take effect. And, well, now we know. The injunction is gone. The stay is in effect. And that stay is going to remain until Duncan is over and they can finish up with Miller. So they found a way to extend the stay, well, because of delays, because they're delaying it because there's another case that's similar. They could have just as easily allowed the injunction to take effect while Duncan goes through the system, and that way people had their freedom. Since we are talking about a constitutional right, again, they could have allowed people to have their constitutional right while Duncan goes through the rest of the system, but no, they chose instead to block the injunction, and allow the stay to remain in effect until all this is over. So they have absolutely destroyed this case, absolutely destroyed it. And now it's all determinant on Duncan. We have a mag ban and the so-called assault weapons ban, all now sitting on the shoulders of this one case. So we'll see what happens, and we'll obviously watch Duncan now closely and see if they play more games with that. But it's just not looking good. The Ninth Circuit will do absolutely anything to side with the state of California. And if You needed proof before. This is the proof right here. Right here. Unbelievable. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. You guys have a great day.